No acceleration.
Same way, sir. How will you do that?
I got acceleration, sir.
Okay. Harish got sent.
5 meters per second.
Okay, I will check that right now. Okay. யாரு ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டாரோ ட்ரை பண்ணல ஒரே ஒரு பதில்
Sir, I tried, sir.
வரலையா
I got answer in class.
டென்ஷன் படக்கூடாது டென்ஷன் வந்துருச்சுன்னா ஒரு கேள்வி ஓ டென்ஷன் you did not solve tension
Acceleration, I did not.
this telling the problem
Sir, one block is there, sir. One string pulley is connected, sir.
okay this one na this is ground the ground
No ground, sir.
then how table will stand where table will stand
Okay.
this is pulley
Yes, sir.
what is this how much block mass this one
10 kg.
10 kilogram
Down also 10 kg.
both are 10 kilogram huh? Okay. Now tell me I will assume this is a block number 1 and block number 2 100% it will go down if I am wrong I will get negative answer
But if there is no friction only, no, sir.
where
The table and block will have
no friction no friction
Yes, sir.
I did not give friction means no friction friction is there means I will give some values no
Okay.
return
But if friction is there, there is no acceleration, no, sir.
no acceleration maybe I don't know depends on the roughness
Hmm.
so I will draw a free body diagram of 2 how many forces are acting on the 2 tell me
Upward tension.
earth is pulling down
Downward tension.
what a gravitational force equal to how much
100 Newton.
m into g means 100 newton next to who is the external agent
External agent. String is
string that is what tension capital T why I have drawn bigger force downside
accelerating downward.
it is accelerating down means downward force only should be big
Yes, sir.
this is greater force means net force also should be down yes sir no? Net force equal to how much this one minus this one correct net force equal to how much here 10 into a equal to how much 100 minus
T.
tension T so this is the equation number 1 this block will go in which direction
Left side.
left side with the same acceleration
Yes, sir.
both are connected bodies na yesterday when I told this body is having how much acceleration this body is also having
Same acceleration.
so what a free body diagram of block number 1 tell me
Sir, downward.
downward
The
earth is pulling that is 100 newton who is nullifying this cable
Normal
is
force.
pushing upside that is normal reaction both are nullified
Yes, sir.
rope is pulling left side only na
Yes, sir.
so this tension only providing net force
Yes, sir.
so you can have tension equal to net force on that block net force formula what is 10 into a this is equation number 2 substitute this tension here what do you get 10 into a equal to how much 100 minus 10 into a 10 a bring this side 20 into a that equal to 100 0 cancels out but acceleration equal to 5 meter per second square this is the first answer acceleration substitute here so what do you get tension equal to 10 into 5 so that is how much 15 newton very good understood clear na Now today, this week, laws of motion, friction. So I will explain friction. First, third law, very simple. I will explain. You want me to explain? Internally, I can cover it. Don't feel sorry is skipping many topics. Understood? We are paying lots of fees. Don't feel like that. I'm covering everything. Understood? But I'm not following order. What is important for you, I'm covering in the given time. Understood? The given time, I'm giving you the quality concept one. Okay? Right? Now I will explain friction. So why I selected, because today's time is there. If I don't explain concept of friction, so in your lifetime, this friction will become a mystery for you. Understood? So I will go through the concept. Why? Because I have to give you crystal clear clarity in friction. So internally I will manage many things instead of friction. Yes, sir. Let us start friction. Someone tell me what is the friction?
Opposing force.
Yeah, everyone will escape like that one. Which is opposing motion, they will tell. It is incorrect. To start the motion also, friction is required. Right now, I want to move. What I have to do? I have to push the ground backside. That is friction. Action. What is reaction? Ground also pushing me forward. Now you tell how friction opposes the motion. Friction also supports the motion. Friction also supports the motion. Not only opposes, but also starts the motion, supports the motion. Clear or not clear?
Clear.
Clear or not? So for example, this is the surface of the ground. One man is there. If you want to start walking, what he has to do? With his foot, he has to kick the ground backside. That is so called what here? Friction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So ground also will kick the man forward. So here the friction, what kind of friction it is? Static friction. What, sir? You are saying motion when you are writing static friction. You will question, of course, not question me. You want
May have some
will
reason,
come.
no, sir. So
Huh?
may have some reason, no, sir. So I didn't.
Okay, so sir, this man is in motion, no, sir. Why you kept static friction? In the slow motion, you see, with respect to ground, man foot is in the state of rest only, no? See here in the slow motion, see, I'm walking. Slow motion, see. Slow motion. Is there any relative motion between my foot and ground?
No, sir.
No. Means there is no relative motion. Only the floor is in the state of rest with respect to foot. Foot is in the state of rest with respect to floor. Both are static only, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? So I have to use compulsory static friction. If I did not mention this point, 99% of the students will tell what type of friction they will tell. Kinetic friction they will tell. Kinetic means what? Motion. I understand, but it is what kind of friction? Static friction only. Now, why friction will come? If you see the microscopically all surfaces, if you see this ground microscopically, it will have some irregularities like this. The microscope only you can see. If you place any object, for suppose one object I have placed, one small block I have placed, one dust speck I have placed like this. So how many forces are acting on this object? So this is every irregularity acting like an inclined plane only, no? Right or not? So it is pushing the dust speck like this. This is nothing but normal reaction only, no?
Yes, sir.
It has how many components?
Two components.
One is
Mg cos mg.
horizontal component and vertical component. Like that, every irregularity will give vertical components and will give horizontal components. The algebraical sum of all these horizontal components is called friction. Are you understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
If you add all these horizontal components, all the force horizontal components, if you add, that is defined as what here? Friction. So how will you define the friction? Equal to sum of all horizontal components of normal forces is called the friction. Is it clear, everyone? Clear or not clear?
Clear.
Clear,
sir.
Okay. Now one situation I will explain, you can understand more efficiently. This is one horizontal ground. What is this? One horizontal ground. I placed one cylinder, like gas cylinder or something. If you push this, will it skid immediately?
No, sir.
Applied, for example, 2 newtons of force I have applied. Will it skid, slide immediately?
No, sir.
No. Why?
It will move.
Because you are applying, you are getting tired, you are getting tired, but the cylinder is in the state of rest. You are pushing the cylinder with 2 newtons right side. Cylinder also pushing the ground with 2 newtons right side. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So ground also
pushes it left.
nature character, what it takes 100% it will give it back. It will not keep anything, it will not keep inside. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Here the cylinder pushes the ground 2 newton right side. As it is, it will give it back. Because irregularities are there now. As you are attempting to push irregularities right side, they will also working hard. As a result, ground also giving a push on the cylinder, how many newtons?
2 Newton.
2 newtons, which nullifies this external force. Right now, between this cylinder and ground, how much static friction is there? 2 newton.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Why I am using static? Cylinder is in the state of rest with respect to ground. Ground also rest. There is no relative motion. So here I can write one statement. Applied external force must and should be equal and opposite to static friction. You can write one statement.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Shall I write or not?
Yes.
Now I want to slide it. What I have to do?
More than
I have to push more strongly. If I push more strongly, for example, 4 newton I am pushing, ground also will work hard with the 4 newton. What I am trying to say here, the static friction between cylinder and the ground is not a constant. Yes or no? It is in the variable format. That point everyone have to remember. Static friction is always variable. As you increase the external force, subsequently static friction also will increases.
Then how will object move, sir?
Wait for something. Everything there is a limit. Everything there is a limit. Understood? Cat is a soft animal. By keeping the cat in the room and beating continuously, what will happen? It will also act like a tiger. It will attack you. Same way, irregularities also. Understood? You have power and you are keep on pushing. They will never tolerate. Understood? What will happen? They will try their maximum level best, but after some time they're brittle. These irregularities will be brittle. If you are strong means what will happen? If you are strongly pushing, if you see microscopically, these are irregularities. Say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
And this is a cylinder. Microscopically, I am showing. As you are pushing harder and harder, this cylinder also pushing the irregularities are harder. What will happen then? The brittles, they collapses. Say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
They completely breaks. If no irregularities means what will happen? Completely the surface is polished. Polished means smooth.
So,
Then what will happen?
Slide.
That cylinder begins to slide. Begins to
Slide.
slide. Not sliding. About to sliding. Verge of sliding. Verge of sliding means what? What Arvind?
About to
Sometimes you blink the eyes, right? Like it's continuously you are seeing. Blink the eyes and be active. Understood? Like this, don't say. Understood? Blink the eye. Just so that I will believe you are not sleeping. You are cautious. Understood? Okay? Clear on? Understood now? Everyone blink the eyes and be focused. If you don't understand, stop me. Be interactive. Understood? Okay? That is too much blinking. Okay? So now, what will happen? Tell me. If you use your all powers, definitely at one particular force, what will happen? All the irregularities are broken.
okay.
That state of object is called verge of sliding. Very, very important term. What is this? Verge of sliding. Verge of sliding means same cylinder. For suppose if you apply 10 Newton, what will happen? All irregularities are collapsed and it is ready to slide. But still it will apply maximum force. Still it is in the state of rest. I mean the irregularities tried their level best to oppose the motion, but they failed. Because you broken, not you broken. That cylinder broken that irregularities. When you are dragging something, scratches you can see. Right or not? Your house shifting, if anyone is dragging means, understood that marbles are getting scratches. Understood? Your mama, dad will tell, don't drag, lift it like that. Floor will spoil, na? Same thing. Why that scratches are happening? Because of the collapsing of irregularities. Once irregularities are collapsed, means it is ready to slide, ready to skid, ready to slip. Slipping, skidding, sliding, same. Clear or not? But at this moment, ground is giving maximum amount of friction, no?
Yes, sir.
So that friction is called maximum static friction. Or another name also there. Now old students will tell nicely. What is another name of the maximum static friction?
I was not told students first.
Okay, so this is a limiting friction. What is this? Limiting friction. Why I titled it as a limiting friction? Definitely you will answer. Why limiting?
It limits no, sir. After that limit.
Very good. It limited its friction. More than this friction, it cannot exceed. It cannot increase. That's what it is called a limiting friction. More than 10 Newton if you push, definitely it will be in the sliding state and it will be in the accelerating mode. Right or not?
Yes, sir.
If you increase, for suppose, here we proved that limiting friction equal to how much here? 10 Newton. Now I applied how many Newtons? 20 Newton. What will happen? Still ground is giving how many Newtons? No?
20 Newton.
Only 10 Newtons. No? It's limited. No? Ground ability it can give 10 Newton also. If you kick the ground with 100 Newtons force also, it will give it back 10 Newton only. You broken this irregularities, no? Right or not?
Yes.
Everything has limit, no? Limit or not?
Yes, sir.
If you push this cylinder with 100 Newton, again ground does not have its ability to push with 100 Newton. Its ability is what? 10 Newton. It is limited. Maximum it can give 10 Newton only. That's all. More than that it cannot give. You got my point, everyone? That's why it is called limiting friction. Now you tell me what is the acceleration of this cylinder? Let's say mass of the cylinder equal to, for suppose 1 kilogram. Once it is started skidding, what is the acceleration of this? How many external forces are there? 20. You are pushing 20. Ground is pushing 10. Net force how much?
10
only not 20 minus 10, 10. What is the acceleration of that cylinder?
10 meter per second.
10 by 1. So 10 meter per second square. But still some friction is acting now. 10 Newton. Some irregularities are broken. Sometimes 10 become 9.8 also. For your understanding, here I have written 10 Newton. Originally, 10 will become, after irregularities are broken, 10 become little decreases, like 9 or 8 it will be. Are you understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
Understood. Why? Because what I am trying to say, kinetic friction is always less than maximum static friction. This point of view. Clear or not? Okay. So I hope you understood very well. When that cylinder is in the state of rest, when the cylinder is about to skid,
So that point I can understand. Kinetic friction greater than static.
less than this is less than less than. Kinetic friction always less only. Understood? Here irregularities are broken, no? Who will increase friction?
Yes, sir.
Understood? Broken means slightly friction also reduces, na?
Yes, sir.
Ground ability, maximum static friction 10 Newton.
Yes, sir.
You broke an irregularities. You made the ground soft.
Hmm.
So definitely it will give less than 10 Newton friction only, na?
Yes, sir.
Understood? So I am saying kinetic friction is always less than static friction.
Okay.
Clear? Okay? So this is just a logical convincing only. Understood? To learn more situations, more applications, we need one, at least one equation. Understood? So we will obtain that equation first. See here, this is one rough surface. Of course, all surfaces are rough. This is one block of mass m kilogram. This is another block of mass some 2m kilogram. I applied some force 10 Newton here. I also here also applied some force 10 Newton. Which can able to experience more friction on me? On me in the sense on this cylinder. Definitely heavier mass only will experience more friction. Logically think, which is very easy to skid?
Small mass.
1 kilogram only, na? 2 kilogram, twice you have to hard work. Logically means what I am trying to say, as it is getting heavier, friction also it gives back more. Correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Means, but here I should not use weight. Why? Why? Because our weighing machine will not measure the weight of that cylinder. It will measure normal reaction. In any equation you check, instead of weight, we use normal reaction only. Normal reaction is called apparent weight. Why I am calling apparent weight?
With acceleration.
This mg is nullified by normal reaction only, na?
Yes, sir.
If this cylinder is in the ground, in the flight, wherever it is, the weighing machine will measure only the normal reaction. Understood? So this is having more normal reaction. That's what it will experience more friction.
Yes, sir.
For you, you feel very difficult to slide it. Understood or not understood?
Understood.
So here I can write one statement. Friction is directly proportional to normal force acting on the object. Yes or no? To give a perfect equation format, I have to keep is equal to symbol. I have to keep one proportional constant mu. That equal to how much?
Yeah.
N. Always proportional constants represent the nature of the surface. how rough it is. If mu is more means mu is equal to how much here? F by n. The surface is more rough means
That is more force.
you have to apply more force to even to slide small mass. My meaning is correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Which surface is very rough? The surface is having high roughness, you have to apply
High force.
more external force, even for a less mass.
Understood, sir.
Understood.
Understood or not? So coefficient of friction. Clear?
Yes, sir.
What are the units of coefficient of friction? No units. Newton cancels
Yes,
out.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I told you how many kinds of frictions? Three
Three
frictions.
frictions.
One is static
Kinetic
friction,
kinetic
and limiting friction. One is kinetic or sliding friction or skidding friction or dynamic friction or okay.
Sir, what is rolling friction?
Rolling friction is also static friction. Something is rolling.
Yes, sir.
It's a very good valid doubt.
That
See, this
point,
is one-
point of contact will be in the rest
We
is
have to
very
consider
good.
wheels.
the high car concept.
Many students in India, not India, the world. If I ask what is the friction between the wheel and the ground means, 99.99% of the students will tell, even though the 11th standard is completed, they will tell it is a kinetic friction,
No, sir. Rolling friction.
static
Static
friction.
friction.
It is in rolling, you name it as rolling friction. It is actually static friction. Why static friction? With respect to ground, you should not see the total wheel. Only the contacted portion only you have to see. The contacted portion instantaneously it is in the state of rest only, no?
Yes.
Correct or not? Yes or no? Some, for example, road is slippery. Road is slippery. Then that tire will skid, na?
Yes, sir.
Now by that time, what kind of friction is there?
Kinetic friction.
Yeah, very good. Kinetic or skidding friction, slipping friction. Understood? Rolling friction means you should not generalize static friction. You should not generalize kinetic friction. Depends on the situation. Correct or not? If a road is slippery, for example, in our Indian roads, what will happen? Understood? They will make the roads, but they will not maintain.
Yes, sir.
Lot of dust is there. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Soil is there. When raining, what will happen?
It will rain out.
That cover the irregularities. That's sand and soil completely covering the irregularities. So friction will reduce. When friction reduces, when that driver who did not change his old tires, still he is using old tires. Already old tire means
They will not
they
have
made
grip.
soft. They completely the grippers are reduced. Understood? So that counselor is stingy, this fellow is stingy. He applied brake, what will happen?
He will skid
That tire will not roll, it skid. Now what friction you have to say? Rolling
Rolling
friction
friction.
only, but rolling skidding friction. Clear or not clear?
There is no rolling now, sir. Sir, when skidding.
Rolling as well as skidding.
Only skidding is there.
Again, many conditions are there for this.
Okay.
Understood? Rolling is possible. When rotation of the wheel is possible, skidding also possible. Again, forward skidding is there, backward skidding also there. That is out of this concept right now. Again, we are going to rotatory motion.
Okay.
You understand? Clear or not?
Yes,
Okay. Actually, what I am saying, you understood, na? Rolling friction should not generalize. It is only kinetic friction. It is only static friction. Should not generalize. Moreover, that is not in your syllabus also.
Sir, but
Discuss
in
not-
all these cases, no, sir, area is common, no, sir.
Where area?
Area dependent friction will vary, no, sir.
Who said that?
Sir, if I am moving this, no, sir, this is more contact with this bench, no, sir. So I have to apply more force.
Not like that.
Same mass with less contact force, I can apply easily, no, sir. Because here more irregularities are there, I have to apply more force, no, sir.
It not depends on the area. It only depends on the irregularities, how they are pushing you reverse. That's all.
Sir.
More area means there is no concept of more irregularities, no.
Sir, then irregularities are constant, no, sir. They are variable. How can we do, sir?
See here, Parvez, area is not a constant here. When area matter, when it rolls only, it matter, area. It's only we are talking translatory motion, no?
Yes, sir.
So we should not talk here area of cross section. If you consider area of cross section, again what will happen? Rolling motion also should be considered, toppling also should be considered. We are completely neglecting the area of cross section. For your understanding, only I am drawing this big cylinder, small cylinder. Actually, both are particles only. My diagram is wrong. My diagram made you confusion. For understanding,
yes, sir. But it is not area dependent.
not at all.
Sir, in real case also.
Real case also not different.
Okay.
Understood? Okay. Case to case it will vary.
Yes, sir.
You are rolling toppling you are sliding it depends.
Yes.
Understood? You are rolling means area matter here. You understand? Here area not matter at all. Okay. Clear? So one thing you have to keep it in mind. Is there any fixed static friction?
No, sir.
Fixed static friction never be there. Why? It depends on the external force. How pushes you harder, static friction also will increase like that. Understood? When friction is constant here, once all irregularities are collapsed, then the surface becomes soft, then kinetic friction is always constant.
Yes, sir.
Understood? So if you see the relation, see the graphical relation, the friction values I am plotting on y-axis and the external force that you are applying on the, till now you are pushing the cylinder continuously, na? What is this Fa external equal to? Where all are external agents, we are applying pushing force on that cylinder. As you are increasing external force, what will happen? Friction also will increase. Right or not? If you don't touch the cylinder, no friction. If no external forces, no friction.
Yes, sir.
Correct or not? When the irregularities are activated, if you push the cylinder only, they will be activated. If you push the cylinder, cylinder pushes irregularities. Irregularities again pushes back cylinder backside. Clear or not clear? After some time, what will happen, right? After some time, what will happen?
Sir, that
Irregularities completely collapsed. Hereafter, what will happen? How much external force if you apply, kinetic friction will be constant only. What the name of this friction is called? Limiting friction. What the name of this friction is called? Static friction. How it will be variable? Straight line with a positive slope and passing through origin. But here kinetic friction is always constant here. Okay. Now I hope you digested the concept very well. Now definitely some food I have to give.
yes, sir.
Whether it is digested or not. Understood? One situation I will give. You try to answer it.
Okay.
How much you digested, now I will understand. Clear? Okay. See, this is one rough inclined plane like mountain. What is this? Like mountain or wedge. Let's say its coefficient of friction equal to 0.7 and 0.6. I don't need to tell you what are these values. Tell me. 0.7 and 0.6.
0.7 is maximum, sir. Limiting friction
Very good, very good.
0.6 is
Very good.
kinetic
U is what here? Coefficient of maximum static friction or coefficient of limiting friction. What is 0.6?
Yes, sir.
kinetic
Kinetic
friction.
friction. After irregularities are broken, this kinetic friction only have to use, na? So like that logically you have to understand. Now one person is sitting here. What happened? One person is sitting here. Let's say that angle of inclination is some 60 degree. Let's say that mass of the man equal to, for suppose 50 kilogram. Now my question is very simple and very straight. Will he slide? My first question. Will he slide or does he slide? Will he slide? Or will he rest? Does he rest? Does he is at rest? Tell me. Raj.
Sir, he will be less. He will be in rest only, sir. Rest.
Yeah. So Parviz's answer is in the state of rest only. Okay, this is Parviz's answer. Any
Yes, sir.
strong supporters are there?
No, sir. He will be in motion.
Motion only, yeah? Skidding, sliding. Okay. How to check? For checking that, you have to draw the free ball diagram of the man. Tell me how many forces, external forces are acting on the man? One is gravitational force. How much gravitational force? M into G. M means what? 50. G means 10.
10.
How many newtons? 500 newtons are acting. What is this force? 60 degree. Next, which external force?
Friction.
Friction later I will tell. Next,
Normal.
ground, this inclined mountain will apply normal force like this only, na?
Yes, sir.
I told many times what is x-axis? About which the man will slide. That is our x-axis, na?
Yes, sir.
If man is started sliding, he will go downhill. So that is your x-axis. What is y-axis? Perpendicular to that is y-axis. Say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, this 560 means this will be how much?
30.
30. And what about this?
60.
60. This 500, how I can split
Two.
two component? One is 500 into cosine of
Cosine of
60. This is how much? 500 into
sine of
sine of 60. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So means external force on the man is how much? 500 into sine 60. Only the downhill only you have to consider. Understood? What a normal force on the man? This n is nullified by 500 into cosine 60 now. Why? Even though he is sliding perpendicular to inclined plane, he is rest only now. So what I can write? N equal to 500 into cosine 60 means 1 by 2 means 250 Newton.
Sir, small correction. He will be in motion only.
He will be in motion. Okay. No correction. In NEET final NEET exam.
Sir, no, sir. He applied sine
Only
theta.
one time. Many times I am telling you are a beginner. You should concentrate on accuracy, not on speed. Understood? Speed is a gift. If you regularly practice, speed naturally you will get. Natural. You don't need to try for speed. For understanding. Okay? That point careful. What is external force acting on the man? 500 into sine of 60. So here I can write external force equal to how much here? 500 into sine 60 how much?
Root
Root 3 by 2 means 250 into root 3 newtons. Yes or no? 250 into root 3 means what here? 1.7. 1.732 something is there, but for faster calculation,
25 into 17.
2 if you take also no problem. I am not violating any codes or rules. If you round off 1.7, how much right?
Only, sir.
2 only. Clear or not clear? Okay, anyway, 1.7 into 25, how much? 25 into 17. So 25 into 17, how much? 7 5s are 35, 7 2s are 14 plus 3, 17 and 25 and
8
425 Newton. So external force how much? 425 Newton. What is the maximum ability of that mountain? I mean maximum static friction that can give.
0.7.
I mean limiting friction. How much that is? Mu into N only. What is the coefficient of the maximum friction? Tell me.
0.7.
0.7. Normal force how much? 250. Normal friction I found 250. So how much that is? 7 into 25. How much here?
175.
7 into 25. How much? 7 5 are 35. 7 2 are 14 plus 3. How much? 175 Newton. Yes or no? So here the limiting friction equal to how much here? 175 Newton. Right or not? Means this is the ability of the ground. Sorry, not ground, mountain. More than that, it cannot be. If you want to keep that person in the state of rest, ground compulsory have to apply 250 Newton. But how much force it can apply? Only just 175, na?
Yes, sir.
Earth is pulling him downhill with the 250 Newton. So it is not encountering. Mountain is totally failed. It's smooth. It is not that much rough. So definitely that person will skid.
Yes, sir.
Say sir, no.
Yes,
So
sir.
he started sliding. Why? Why respond? Because the reason external force is more than limiting friction. External force how much?
425.
425. 425 is very, very larger than
175.
175. So that person definitely mountain, he will die definitely. He will have great injuries. Now with what acceleration he will slide? Tell me. Downside is going with the 425 Newton. Earth is pulling. Now which friction comes into field? Kinetic or static? Kinetic. You only told he started sliding. Which friction will encounter? Only kinetic friction will encounter. So net force is downhill only, na?
9.5.
Say yes or no? Net force is downhill only. So I can write net force equal to how much? Net force equal to big force. Big force how much? 425 minus kinetic friction. What is net external force formula? Mass into acceleration equal to how much? 425 minus kinetic friction how much? Response?
0.6.
Mu k into n. So n value how much here? 50 into A is equal to how much? 425 minus mu k value how much here? Like
0.6.
coefficient of kinetic friction.
0.6.
0.6 you have to do.
Yes, sir.
Many students will do a mistake in that space. 0.6 you have to take. But normal force
Normal force 250.
250. Okay, so you have to simplify this. 5 tens are, 5 8s are, 5 5s are, 5 5s are, 5 zeros are. 10 if you simplify, 10 ones are 10, 8.5s are, this is 5.6, correct? So what acceleration of that man? 8.5 minus 0.6 into how much? 5.6.
0.11.
So how much that is? 6 into 56 how much? 6 6 are 36, 6 5 are 30 plus 3, 33, 336 and how much is this?
33. 3.36.
3.36. 8.5 minus 3.4. What acceleration of the man?
5.2.
5.1 means approximately 5 meters per second.
Yes, sir.
Just imagine that man situation is falling, skipping from mountain. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay? So that is his acceleration. I hope you understood very well
Yes, sir.
whether that man is rest or motion. Few more situations I will explain tomorrow. Okay? Thank you, student. Now,
Question of the day.
question of the day I will give. Very good. Nicely remembered. I will give one question of the day. Try this. Tomorrow everyone have to post the answer. You have to prove that, sir, if your answer means I will be very happy. Why I will be very happy means you digested the concept. What happened?
It is showing you are muted. There's another Ramesh.
Now just now muted, huh?
No, sir, no, not muted. There is another Ramesh Bollu in the meeting, sir. He is muted.
Okay. Now. Question I have to frame. Okay. Yes. See this one same mountain, right? What is this?
Same.
Same mountain. The angle of inclination same 60 degree. Same 60 degree. But this time man mass is some 70 kilogram. Okay. Say some.
Yes, sir.
And here this coefficient of frictions are 2 and 1.2. 2 and 1.5. You understood very well.
Yes, sir.
2 and 1.5. I don't need to explain. And this time air also affecting. Air is also external force. Air is always pushing the man like this with some 100 newtons of force. Horizontally is pushing. So now my question very simple and very straight. Does that man is in the state of rest or sliding? You have to think creatively like a scientist and you have to answer. You can do. Just to did small problem. For us, you added one more course. How it in which way it is justice, sir. So you are a student. Whatever problem is given, you have to solve. You are coming here not to gain the knowledge, to increase your skills. Understood? If you have knowledge today, you will forget, tomorrow you will remember again. But skill is there means any problem you can solve. Are you understanding, friend?
Yes, sir.
Okay? You just decide whether the man is in the state of rest or sliding uphill, downhill. Is sliding uphill, acceleration find. Is sliding downhill, acceleration find. Understood? Okay. Arvind, I'm over, you go. Tomorrow we'll talk like that.
No, sir.
Who will do after going to go? I will forget question of the day. Huh? Something like that. Huh? Okay, anyway, try. Okay. So I think everyone knows my number. Please save. And any academic concerns, any problem you are facing, 24/7 you call me. If you give missed call also no problem. I will call you back. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Okay, students. Thank you.